And some of these prophets, they do things that are so wild that you don't associate with pastors, that you don't associate with prophets. That's why even Bushiri was often described as a self-proclaimed pastor, a self-proclaimed prophet. What do you call him? Does anybody go to his church? What do you guys call him there? He's brandishing weapons. He's taking dangerous weapons to school. Takes kids against their will from his school who are screaming. And the video is so disturbing. The kids are screaming, Papa, Papa, like, Daddy, Daddy. He's like, take them. They force them into a car. He's busy brandishing a panga. That's your prophet. My goodness.
Hi, morning, Clement. Yeah, thank you for the update on this Katlehov incident. But I just think that police can always give us better. I mean, this guy that you interviewed, it does not inspire any confidence at all. Yeah, this guy, man, no, man, I think we deserve better in Gauteng. Yeah, thank you, Clement. Bye-bye.
People are just not aware. I don't know the context of, I think, this Muthuling story, but people are not aware of how difficult it is to have a child and the mother passing away and the maternal families feeling as if they're entitled to our kids. Perhaps in the same situation, although I don't think I've ever been violent, but I'm in the same situation where I have to go see my son through a fence. I've tried everything from social workers to the court, and it's just perhaps a lot. And the only thing I'm able to do is just to pay fees for my son. I mean, we've had family meetings and all that. So I really resonate with what this guy is doing. These kids are ours. We may be men, but equally so, I think we are also fit to raise our own kids.
Yes, you are. But guys, can we just be clear here? We're falling to the trap of wanting to justify criminality. Nobody here is saying that when a child or a father is being denied a right to see their children, that's okay. Nobody's saying that. Hence, I've said twice, in probably a space of a month or two on this show, we had a conversation on our Listener's Choice feature about cases where men, and it was mostly men who are affected. If 98% of the men and the issues we're dealing with were of men who are being denied access, which is why we bring in the experts who are giving you the options and what to do. If you really care deeply about your children, you're not going to go into a school brandishing weapons, traumatizing not only them, but their fellow pupils as well, and their teachers. You're not going to do that if you care deeply, in fact, about your children. And I remember men were calling and saying, for me, it took me 3 years. Someone called and said, it's been such a long journey for me fighting for the custody over my children, and I finally won. And he was saying, I'm urging other fathers out there to just keep on fighting. That man didn't do anything violent. So don't fall into the trap of wanting to justify what really is nonsense, and it's criminality. We can have a conversation about this thing of fathers that are being denied access, or instances where the mother of the children dies and the fathers are not around to ever have access towards the children. That is completely wrong, and it's illegal if there's in fact a court that has decided on that matter. Simply, let's not conflate issues here. Listen to what this guest once told us. I had this on the show. This was a guest who spoke to us. Her name was Chantel Kerr, who's a divorce and family mediator. And because a lot of men were calling and saying, what do we do? Some of us are being denied access to see our children. What are the options that are available for us? And Chantel tried to respond to that concern that was coming on the lines.
In terms of Section 35 of the Children's Act, it's a criminal offence to deny the other parent contact. So what happens in such a situation is if they try to mediate as to why and what's going on and mediation fails, there's other avenues. The court can issue a contempt of court against the non-compliant parent, which could result in fines or even imprisonment in terms of recent case law. Or the aggrieved parent can seek a variation of the existing order. So there's various stages to this. Either it gets resolved peacefully around the table as to work out why, or they go to their respective attorneys. If they cannot afford that, they can open up an inquiry at the Office of the Family Advocate, or they can even approach the Children's Court, which now has the same powers as the High Court where it comes to child matters.
Yeah, that's what Chantel told us when we had this conversation about custody rights, and in instances where there are disagreements, what are the options available to those that are being denied access to see their children. Also, the police have just responded to that inquiry about, remember someone called earlier and said AK-47, that's illegal in South Africa. The police responded and said, yes, fully automatic rifles are prohibited in South Africa. In fact, Section 4 of the Firearms Control Act doesn't allow these firearms in South Africa. So AK-47s, which are fully automatic, are not allowed in the country. But if it's semi-automatic, it's fine. But mostly the AK-47s are fully automatic. We don't know for sure if that gun that this man who was with Pastor Mboro was brandishing is a fully automatic AK-47. That's going to be determined by the police. But in case you were wondering, like that other listener, that is not allowed. They are prohibited in South Africa in terms of Section 4 of the Firearms Control Act. Bishop Kelly, you are calling us from Pretoria. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Clement. How are you?
I'm all right. Go ahead, sir.
Look, my submission to you really is, I don't think it's struggery. I think what happened yesterday highlights an issue of mental wellness in the clergy, which is often seen as a demonic manifestation. I just saw a man who is not mentally well, and I think the country must actually, begin to see it that way. There's an issue of bipolar in the clergy, which has been ignored and easily dismissed, as a demonic manifestation. So my submission to you is, I just see an issue here of mental wellness. Nobody under normal circumstances can do what that man did as a human being, So really for me, Clement, it's an issue of mental wellness. That's what I see.
Haven't we seen other, Bishop Kelly, other ordinary people who go into schools and they brand it?
Sharp, man. 45 feet, it go right. Oh. Qui est la copie? Thank you. Le gars, tem libito. Leba odileng kalon. Okay. Kenny Kumar. Just to make sure what.
Yeah, no, we have told her.
More.
Because we send a message, I'm sure it will be here in 5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
One another day arrived.
Yes. Okay. Then more. If we want to deliver the kgogo e phelang, yeah, I deliver. Little while off. Okay. Thank you, Pa. Sharp.
Bad things he has done behind closed doors with those high caliber weapons and the pangas. He calls himself man of God with the pangas and what. Hey, no. Thank you, SAPS. Thank you.
Clement, to me, this guy is just a thug. This Mboro guy is just a thug. I think the people that go to his church are also thugs. How do you accept that a pastor, a man of God, a man who claims to be under God's protection, to have bodyguards, who carry rifles, does that really mean this man believes in God? If you're a man of God, you don't need bodyguards. You can just have people around you who don't have firearms on them, who don't carry rifles on them. That will make sure that you're okay. But you don't need rifles as someone who is God fearing and who is under protection of God. I think he's just a thug, Clement.
Yeah, thanks, Tibos. I don't know, guys. Come on. So because you believe in God and you believe in the protection of God, what? Just go around, live your life freely without making sure that the necessary protections are in place. I don't know if I agree with that. There are pastors who have bodyguards because maybe the risk assessment has been done and they've seen that they're probably at risk just being by themselves. That doesn't mean you trust God less. That's like saying, why are you going to the doctor? If you believe so much in God and His healing power, why are you going to the doctor? God will just heal you. No. There's a reason why there are protection services. There's a reason why you've got medical doctors. There's a reason why you need security in your house. Are you gonna just leave your house unattended, locked, and you go away for 2 months? Oh, but I believe in God. He'll protect my home. Oh, I don't know if I agree with that characterization. Tabirwa, You calling us from Tembisa. What are your thoughts? Hi.
Hey, Madime.
Hey, Tara.
Who's on, Barak?
Kumna, Tidirenda.
Sharp. You see, look, there's no reason to justify this kind of violence, especially in the school ground. There's no reason. And there was a caller who is, I think he's a pastor. I'm not sure whether he's a pastor or what, who talks about the issue of a mental wellness. I disagree with that. It's not a psychologist himself. Until such time that the case has been made against this Mutsweni, that's where we can be able to see whether there was a mental wellness or whatever. But for now, this is a pure staggering, a violence which must be condemned. We can't condone such kind of action. And for bodyguards to carry such kind of a weapon, we must even want to know whether those guns are licensed. Are they licensed to hold those kind of rifles? Definitely so. That should be condemned.
Yeah. Tabira, thank you for your contribution. It's 6 minutes now before 10 o'clock. We'll wrap up with more of your calls and WhatsApps after the break.
As 2024 makes headlines, EWN has some breaking news of our own. We have a brand new app and website. It's the digital home of the Eyewitness News team, and we're inviting you to experience it. Find all the things that keep you trusting EWN in one place. From breaking news,
trade unions have been warned to stay clear from using the deaths of 11 workers at the Impala Platinum mine
to the 2024 national elections coverage.
Eyewitness News reporting live in Centurion.
The daily EWN TV bulletins, EWN traffic, business and sports reports, plus all the news, reviews, comments and analysis from South Africa and beyond. We've upgraded your EWN experience. It's sleeker, faster, better in every single way. Go to ewn.co.za or download the app from your app store. Search it as you see it with Circle to Search on the new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 5G and Vodacom. Pre-order it today on a 2.6 gig Red Core plan for just 1,599 Rand per month over 36 months. Plus, enhance with trade-in and save up to 630 Rand per month over 36 months. Here's to the next 30 years of giving you more. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Further together, Vodacom.
That's Harold Netzaris Hotline, Rowan on the line.
Harold, help. Last year, I forgot my wife's birthday.
Whoops, let me guess. Things got a bit hairy, eh?
No, the exact opposite. She swapped my shampoo for hair remover. There's not a hair on my head.
Ooh, smooth.
Please help me get it right this year.
You can get a lot more than right. Just visit Netflorist and order the biggest birthday bouquet you can. And your head will be all taken care of. Netflorist, it's easy to show you care.
When it comes to investing, we have a steady hand when things get shaky. Volatility is inevitable. But for active investment managers like us, it presents opportunities. 91. Investing for a world of change. 91 is an authorized FSP.
The South African Local Government Association, SALGA, will be hosting the joint sitting of the Council of Mayors and Speakers 2024 from the 7th to the 8th of August in Polokwane. 702's Ray White will be there as local government members address the challenges experienced by mayors, executive mayors, and speakers respectively, and provide a platform that can also be used for learning, sharing, and reflecting. Stay tuned to 702 for highlights. The South African Local Government Association, inspiring service delivery.
Your voice. Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyate.
On 702.
3 minutes before 10 o'clock.
Morning, Clem. Morning to the listeners. Great show. Clem, I'm not for a minute trying to justify what the pastor did yesterday. But having friends, having witnessed friends at that tether's ends, regarding custody of our children or being denied custody, or because your wife has passed away or your partner has passed away, all of a sudden you are invisible. Having personally witnessed friends at that tether's ends in similar situations, sometimes you can't blame people for losing it. And that's what happens, you lose it. I've had to hold a dude back because he lost it. And if we didn't have an overnight watch this dude, goodness knows what he would have done.
Morning, Clement. Believe me, the children's court, when it comes to these issues of children, they really take the interest of a child. I've been on that kind of situation with my ex-husband. They have to go the legal route. They evaluate both sides, make sure that the child's interest is taken into consideration. And also the well-being. They even come to your home and see the environment of both parents. There is no need for that pastor to do that.
In Katlehong, that signifies what is exactly wrong with our country. We cry that our country is crime-ridden and our crime stats are very high. But whenever we get a chance to discipline ourselves and let the law take its course, we act in this way. How do we justify burning that church? Pastor Mboro broke the law by going to that school. Now, are we saying that we are now right by burning the church, by taking the law into our own hands? South Africa, come on, let's fix ourselves. Then you will see things will go smoothly in this country. This is Eugene from Soshanguve.
Good afternoon, Mendim Rafana here. So, I had one, I don't know if it's WhatsApp or SMS that you write that those kids are Mboro's kids. I don't know what the facts are. But if those are the facts, then that's fine. It's his children. But as a parent, I would never want any person to be yielding a gun for whatever purpose going to my child's school. What if I get there and I see Mboro and there's a machete and there's guns in the school and I have my daughter in there? Wouldn't it most likely also cause me to draw a gun and be engaged in a bed? Because I wouldn't understand why is he there. So what I'm trying to say is the children may be his, the school is not his. He should not have done what he has done, what he did yesterday at that school, and for that he must face the law.
Thank you for all of those WhatsApp voice notes. Look, I just don't see how you can condone that behavior of a machete and a firearm around young children like that. I don't think that there is any justification for that. Doesn't matter what they have been put through in terms of custody of the kids. So I don't think that can be condoned. And again, unfortunately, we do see this kind of vigilante action where the community has now set the church alight. The Incredible Happenings church has been completely razed to the ground. It's now being looted as well. So whatever has escaped the flames is now being looted by, a lot of them look like high school children, but the community going in there trying to get hold of speakers and plastic chairs and looting what's left. Eugene, on that point, right, is that on the one hand, we applaud the police for what they're doing dealing with organized crime. On the other hand, the community doesn't trust the criminal justice system, so they take it into their own hands because they feel that Pastor Mboro won't be dealt with fairly by the criminal justice system. So you have this strange dichotomy where on the one hand you back the police and support the police, in other cases you don't trust the police because of years of the criminal justice system not working. Gaugela on WhatsApp says, the good news, Mboro was supposed to be the light of the world according to the Bible. Instead, he became the chaos in the world by attacking the defenseless school in an evil way to solve problems. He is definitely deserving this incredible punishment.
7:02, the Midday Report, Monday to Friday.
12 to 1 p.m.
If you've been listening throughout the show, you would have heard us playing audio of Senzo Mkunu, the police minister, who was speaking at an ANC Lekgotla briefing. He's been speaking along with a few other colleagues as well. For example, Minister Parks Tau and other ANC representatives. Tabiso Koba, EWN reporter, at that briefing for us. Tabiso, good afternoon to you. And tell us about what has happened now that the ANC Lekgotla has wrapped up.
Good afternoon, Mandy. As I said, we are now heading up to the wrapping up of the Lekgotla. And one of the key messages, this is something that Park Stow, he's head of the ANC's local government subcommittee, is that the ANC will now be shifting its focus towards ensuring that local government, especially in areas or provinces where it does govern, that there's much more emphasis and much more focus on making sure that local government does actually work. You'll know that this is their first Lekgotla since the elections, and they were doing some sort of a post-assessment of trying to find out what actually were the issues that were in the voters, or in the minds of the voters. And what they have found is that a lot of those issues, they really had to do, Mandy, with our local government. Now, as they said, the Minister of Police, Mr. Senzo Mkhunu, who's also the ANC's, who's also part of the ANC's subcommittee on peace and stability, crime is also an issue that ANC has also identified as
structure, and it looked as though they were trying to dismantle it, but it was then set ablaze. There are now emergency services firemen on the scene there who have been putting out the flames. All of this emanating, of course, from what happened yesterday and that video that went viral on social media of Paseka Pastor Mboro at the Matadiso Primary School in Katlehong, wielding machetes and firearms as well. I mean, it's just astonishing the kind of things that can happen in this country when it comes to the news cycle. Khomoto Modise, EWN reporter, is on the scene for us in Katlehong at the moment to give us an idea of what's happening there. Khomoto, good afternoon to you. Describe the scene at the Incredible Happenings Church.
Well, Mandy, a little earlier when I arrived here, there was a really big blaze here at the Incredible Happenings Church. The tent that's been here for many years had clearly been set alight, and the chairs and the equipment in this church was really just being gutted by the fire. Now, that fire right now seems to be contained. It doesn't seem to be anywhere near as large and as big as it was when I arrived here. But it seems the secondary fire right next to the church seems to be breaking out now. There are two trucks, firefighters here, fire brigade here at the Incredible Happenings Church, trying to contain the blaze. And a large group of community members are here now, taking videos and standing by, watching as this church, that has really been here for a very long time, goes up in smoke.
Khomoto, earlier we saw visuals of what looked like high school children descending on the tented structure. Do we know what exactly happened? Who was responsible for setting the church alight?
Well, you know, Mandy, when I arrived, there was a large group of what looked like high school children, people that were in uniform, running from the tent. And they were running, you know, it seemed as though they had occupied a space right next to the church. And once the fire had really become really big, they then ran away from it as there was some explosive sounds. I believe that there's some gas cylinders inside here, and so they were moving away from that. I spoke to a couple of people that were here a little before I arrived, and they told me that it was the pupils who set the church alight. I also understand from the community patrollers here, members of the CPF, that they knew that this was going to happen. They were warned about this as early as this morning, and they were told when they were briefed by the head marshals that the fire was likely to be started at the church. And so many of them were stationed here, ready to stop the people that arrived. But it seems the people overpowered them, and then that's when they set the fire alight.
Khomoto, we know, of course, what happened yesterday at the school in Katlehong. We also understand that Pastor Mboro and 3 others were arrested due to appear in court. You were going to that appearance earlier today. Is that happening, or is that now being postponed until tomorrow?
Mandy, I started at the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court, where I understood, according to the police commissioner in Gauteng, that Pastor Mboro and 3 others would be appearing in court. And so that's where I went before I moved here. And I met members of the NPA who were there a little earlier. to inquire about this appearance. We understand that Mboro will only be appearing in court tomorrow at the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court. However, there's a lot that's happening at the nearby police station, where it's understood they are being held. All four of the accused are being held, and they're being processed at that police station, where they'll make their appearance tomorrow.
Khomotso, thank you very much. Khomotso Modise, EWN reporter, on the scene there at the Incredible Happenings Church in Katlehong, describing the scene. Just to tell you what I can see at the moment on the TV news channel. So it looks as though firemen have now extinguished those flames. There were huge flames. There was billowing black smoke. You can now see the skeleton structure of that tent. Some of the chairs overturned. It's smouldering. Nothing left of the Incredible Happenings church. Lots of people milling around trying to remove some of the plastic church chairs. Also, some of the actual tenting material has been wrapped up. They're trying to recover whatever they can from the church as the firemen pull hose pipes towards the smouldering embers that remain there. A great big fire truck as well. All of this, of course, in response to what happened yesterday, and we've been talking about it at length. That video that went viral, in which you can see Pastor Mboro in a very tense standoff with teachers. It's understood that he went to the school demanding to fetch two children. All of this to do with a custody battle. And it's understood that this custody battle was the result over the mother of the children passing away. So there's a dispute at the moment between who exactly has custody of the children. And Pastor Mboro went to go and help assist his son, who was at the school, and you see the machetes, you see the firearms. It's very, very scary indeed. The police minister, Senzo Mtuno, has been speaking about this at the ANC Lekgotla briefing today. He's been commenting on the arrest that took place. Have a listen to what he had to say.
The incident yesterday in the primary school in Katlehong, it's something that we condemn. When a community leader or a citizen carries what appears to be firearms and a bush knife, go to an institution like education for whatever reason, brandish such things like a panga, and cause commotion, because that causes anxiety among children and among parents of other children. We condemn that, and we know that police are dealing with it. They've arrested 4 people, and we are hoping that more arrests will come as it becomes necessary.
That's the Police Minister Senzo Mtuno speaking about this issue earlier today. So as you heard there from our reporter, the 4 arrested are being processed at a nearby police station. My concern now would be, are the police able to keep them safe as a result of what has happened here? The church has gone up in flames. It has been razed to the ground, and clearly more than a lot of unhappiness in the community about what happened yesterday at the school. So we'll continue to watch that closely. Let me know what you think. Send me a WhatsApp voice note, 072 7021 702, 072 567 1567 on the WhatsApp line. Lesego says, there's no custody battle, it's his children. End of story. Black families irritate me when it comes to this. That woman has no rights to those children. The father has run away. Why is she frustrating the man? Mboro must have been at the end of his tether. So defense there for Pastor Mboro. I don't understand how you can defend what he did, but I want to hear your views. So do send me a WhatsApp voice note.
702.
702.
Mandy Wiener.
Weekdays, 12 to 1 p.m.
Quite a few different court cases we are following for you today. In the South Gauteng High Court in Joburg, former President Jacob Zuma was actually in the courtroom today, looking very engaged. This is all part of the private prosecution of the current president, Cyril Ramaphosa, alleging that prosecutor Billy Downer leaked his medical records during the corruption trial. You'll know all of that by now. Bernadette Wicks, EWN reporter. You were in court today.
Ninjani? Awumela ngideliver. I-51 ngayithola kuphi address? Okay. Sharp. Yeah, busy mom. Busy mom. Ninjani? Right. Kunomuntu odile. Ubani igama lakhe? Elinye igama. Okay. Mo ga deliver le go phelang ne. Ke re le go phelang ga deliver ne. O ba se go le letswae ga deliver. Wa bona? Thank you. Sure.
By a multidisciplinary team comprising DPCI officials, intelligence operatives. We also had the special task force, and there was also a security company involved. And they descended on a location in town 2, Khayelitsha, just after 18:30 last night. And upon approaching the would-be robbers, they were met with fire, and that left them with no chance but to retaliate. And when the shootout finished, 8 of them were killed from the side of the suspects, and 5 were arrested. May I also indicate, Mandy, that of the
police are treating him special. Why is Mboro not to be arrested by now?
As I've indicated, the investigation is still on. The detectives are busy with the investigation, and I've just mentioned that we cannot rule out more arrests.
So that's why we have not arrested him. There's evidence, clear evidence, showing him inside the school premises having weapons. He has not been arrested. Why?
Yeah, remember, as police, we investigate to arrest. Now, as I'm explaining that, it does not mean that he won't be arrested. The detectives are currently busy. They are on the ground as we speak. And as I've said, further arrests will be made.
What is the difference between him and his bodyguard? Did you understand the bodyguard was arrested because he was carrying a gun and him carrying a panga? Well, what is the difference there?
In terms of the?
You understand that the bodyguard was arrested, who was carrying a gun, who is one of the people who was arrested, but not Mboro. I'm saying, what is the difference between him carrying a panga and the bodyguard carrying a firearm?
Okay, there's definitely no difference because in terms of the Firearm Act, we've got the right to arrest the security guard. Again, in terms of the panga, it is a dangerous weapon. And we also have a right to arrest. But as I've indicated, the investigation is still on, and soon arrest will be made. Further arrest will be made.
But the pastor, the well-known pastor, was in your premises last night. Why was then the uncle arrested, but not him, who was in your premises last night?
The uncle?
Yeah.
You mean the 4 suspects that were arrested? I should think I need...
I can hang out how I didn't forget if I was more evidence. But now you're going to life. That's where it's a bit. You're not evidence, you can't feel back. Evidence.
But just
Come on, please,
from my public news, what particular charges are they facing?
The charges that have been registered against the said suspects is intimidation, is non-compliance in terms of the Firearm Act, and dangerous weapon, and also assault, because the station commander was also assaulted in the process.
I have a question. Can you see it from the Sunday Times? Community members are saying that Mboro has a very special relationship with police. He's enjoyed a lot of protection. To the police, I understand that you're investigating and the investigation needs to run its course. But do you not fear that this adds fuel to that fire, that you guys are protecting him by not arresting him? Because he was seen with those pangas. It's not a matter of you still establishing that he was seen, but yet he still remains a free man.
Yeah, I am aware that he was seen in the video. Everyone has seen that video footage. But as I explained, in terms of our processes, remember when we arrest a person, it just doesn't end up there. The person has to go through the process of court. And now when you go through the process of court, you need to be able to link the suspect with a crime that has taken place. Hence, I am saying we are still busy with the investigation, and soon we will be making more arrests.
And where are the children at the moment?
As I was informed, the children at the moment are with the grandmother. Yes.
So the grandmother is not arrested then?
No, it's the grandmother from the father's side.
Who has been arrested?
No.
So sorry,
Perhaps just kindly explain that, yes, a bit further, because it's sort of shortening as we go. Could you kindly make us understand where are the children currently?
Yeah, I was informed by the station commander that the children are with the mother of the father. Yes, the wife. Yes.
But again, make it make sense. Okay, so that was I can't tell you the name of this officer. It looks like a general from the epaulets that it is a general. I'm not sure of the name. Once I get it, I will tell you, but a very high-ranking police officer on the scene there in Katlehong. Anna Sitole is the Ekurhuleni District Commissioner, according to ENCA. That's the strap line there, busy explaining to journalists what the situation is. This is very confusing because we were under the impression that Pastor Mboro had been arrested. Now the journalist saying, if you've got the visuals of him waving a panga in a school, then surely he should be arrested. The police saying that they are investigating to arrest.
The sun shall never set on so glorious a human achievement. Let freedom reign.
The mother of all road trips began 30 years ago with our new democracy. Sanral has been part of the journey, building world-class infrastructure across the country and building communities at the same time. We've built with the expertise of engineers Sanral has supported through college, and with skilled labor Sanral has helped to train.
We're not just building roads, we're building a nation. And thanks to 30 years of freedom, we've come a long way.
Sunrail, an agency of the Department of Transport.
Infertility is the inability to conceive after 1 year. 1 in 6 couples suffer from infertility. 1 in 10 women suffer from endometriosis, which causes painful periods and affects your quality of life. I am Dr. Neelan Pillay, a gynecologist and subspecialist in reproductive medicine at the Hope Clinic. Don't suffer in silence. We can help. Visit drpillay.co.za for more.
Trust is everything. At Outsurance, we know this to be true, which is why, regardless of whether you're a client or not, you can trust the Outsurance pointsman to get you safely through those busy intersections while also saving you a lot of time. The Outsurance pointsman, getting you there quickly, safely, and with a smile since 2005. Just another way you always get something out, in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP.
It's Test Drive Month and Mercedes-Benz is celebrating with exclusive offers on our luxurious SUV range. Experience the thrill of the GLA and GLC SUV, now standard with AMG line and panoramic sunroof. Visit your nearest dealer or book a test drive online at mercedes-benz.co.za. Exclusive to Mercedes-Benz Financial Services. T's and C's apply.
Imagine a banking partner that gives you in-depth financial insights. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking on the Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Good day, 702. What Mboro did is wrong. It's very, very wrong. Don't do that. Bring the R4s and R2 and what to school. It's very wrong. Mboro must get arrested. And again, Mboro, if he must also come to the country and apologize publicly to the country. I think that is another thing he needs to do as a pastor. Otherwise, his church must be closed. I thank you, 702, Nino from Tembis. Azisha.
Yeah, what Mboro did,
Libito?
No, it's not right. Even though he's right, because he did raise the children. And he was actually looking after the kids. So the way he did things, it was unprofessional.
Hey Mindy, whatever that is happening in Pastor Mboro's church, it's incredible. Anonymous from nowhere.
Azisha, let it burn. AKG. People. So it has burnt down. Pastor Mboro's incredible happenings church has burnt down. We're still unclear, the police saying that he has not been arrested, even though he's been waving a machete around. So we'll continue to watch that for you. Meanwhile, let's just end off the show with some Olympics, because even though there's a lot of news happening, of course, Team South Africa still busy in Paris. David Isaacson, Sunday Times and Times Live sports writer in Paris for us. David, good afternoon to you. What's on the agenda for Team South Africa today?
Hi, Mandy. Well, it's a quieter day today. We've got the 400 semi-finals with Zakiti, Nene, and Live Pillay. If one of them can make the final, that would be really a good effort by them. But equally, if neither make it, that's also not a bad thing, because they're both integral parts of the 4x4 relay, which is a medal prospect at the weekend. So that's one of the big highlights. We also got the women's 400 hurdles semi-finals with Sinead Geldenes and Regale Joseph. And again, hopefully they can sort of get personal bests. A final
in the picture as well, and they'd come to forcibly remove 2 young children from a primary school in Katlehong. One of the people in that video has been widely identified as the religious figure Pastor Mboro. And then today, Pastor Mboro's Incredible Happenings Church, which is housed in a massive tent or possibly complex of more than one tent, I couldn't quite tell, but that was burned to the ground, it would seem, by high school students in the area. Our EWN reporter colleague, Khumotso Modise, has been out in Katlehong today, and she joins us now with the very latest. Khumotso, good afternoon to you. I want to start in a slightly different place to the burning of the tent, there seemed to be at one point, and Mandy Wiener captured this really well on her show on the Midday Report, some suggestion that Pastor Mboro was not amongst the people arrested, and only 4 people had been arrested. I see the number is up to 5. What clarity can you give us on how many people have been arrested and what do we know about who they are? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John. Well, it usually happens with these cases. The police are pretty tight-lipped about the identities of the people that have been arrested. This is, of course, because by law they can only name and identify people once they are in the dock and have made an appearance. And so it is unclear who the people that are arrested are. And the community has been up in arms today, really calling for the arrest of Pastor Mboro. And I understand they've been moving and operating with the understanding that Mboro is not among the people that have been arrested. However, a 5th person has now been arrested, and I asked the police a little earlier, John, about what that person's involvement in this incident is, and the police have said that they cannot divulge that at this stage. And so it's unclear whether Mboro is part of the people that have been arrested. However, we know that 5 people will make an appearance tomorrow at the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court.
Yes, and all that obviously will become clear, and strictly according to the law, that's when their names will be revealed and confirmed for the first time. Clearly, though, no doubt in the minds of, were they mostly high school students, but a large crowd that went to the Incredible Happenings headquarters, a massive tent. I don't know if it's more than one tent. Well, what exactly happened there? Did they go there with the intention of burning it down, do you think? Or were they hoping to meet with and engage with people connected to the church?
Well, it's a single tent, John, a massive tent, as you described it. And the church has been there for a couple of years. When Pastor Mboro really drew the attention of the media a few years ago, we as Eyewitness News happened to be at the church, and it's the very same spot that he's been occupying there. And my understanding is that the pupils, as far as that's how they've been identified by officials and community policing forum members, John, went there with the intention of setting the tent alight. And I say that because what we've heard today from CPF officials is that they were briefed from the early hours of this morning that this may happen. And so security was beefed up around 10. I saw a number of marshals, members in their yellow and blue jackets around the tent. They're also the same marshals that have been helping church members salvage what they have been able to in that area, John. So it does seem that the pupils were intending on setting the tent alight, and the beefed up security really did very little to help, in keeping that structure unharmed.
How would you describe the police presence there? Because if I've understood you right, the church making their own security arrangements, were the police on the scene, and if so, with what level of manpower and preparation?
So it's unclear if this was the church that made their own arrangements. What I do know is that it's the CPF, it's the Community Policing Forum.
Right.
And I don't know if they were organized by the church or if they were prompted by police, because CPF members work with the police. But I must say that when I arrived on the scene, there were no police present. It was just CPF members, and the tent had already been set alight. And then there was police presence, and I can tell you that over the last few hours, the presence of police has become heavier and heavier. Earlier, we saw members of the South African Police Service in their vans and vehicles stationed near the tent. Present there and watching. And then we saw, as the day progressed, we saw top brass police in the province really coming there to address the media and to give an update on what's going on. And now there's a very heavy presence of Ekurhuleni Metro Police. It's important to mention, however, that this church is stationed not very far from the police station in the area. But yeah, that's the current situation in terms of security. It seems more police are just arriving there, and I'm not sure if they're arriving there, John, because they believe that it is a hotspot, or if they're coming there to evaluate. There is an investigation that is underway, John. An arson case has been opened and that is now being investigated.
Khumoso, did you get a chance to speak to any of the students? And if you did, what were they saying? Presumably nobody would have said, well, yeah, no, they were involved in the arson, unless, of course, they did. But I'm keen to know if you got any sense of their motivation for being out there and involved in this issue in the way they have been.
So, John, many of the students that I could see, well, when I arrived initially on the scene, I must say, John, that I saw a very large group of students, pupils in uniform running away from the tent and fleeing. And this was as there was the sound of explosions, and I believe there were gas tanks inside that tent. And so everyone was kind of fleeing and running away from the fire. But the students that I approached didn't want to speak to the media. They said they were afraid and didn't want to talk at all. However, the people that were very keen to speak, John, were members of the church. And they were stationed near the tent, and they've been speaking all afternoon, saying they are unfazed by what happened here. They're calling it a form of resurrection, and they say that this has been prophesied by their leader, Pastor Paseka Mutsweneng.
So in terms of their pastor, Paseka Mutsweneng, I've been referring to him as Pastor Mboro, but did any of them have any, did they say they'd seen the footage from the Katlong's primary school, from Matsidiso Primary? And if so, what did they have to say about it?
Just for clarity, John, do you mean the members of the church?
Yes, the members of the church. Because, I mean, over to you, please.
So the church members have refused to comment on that. One thing that they have said, one of the ladies that I spoke to said that it's clear that the children that set the church alight today are being used by their parents in some sort of a battle or a fight. The sense I'm getting from the church members is that they believe their leader is under attack of some sort, and everything that's happening is a personal attack on him that he's prophesied about. And so they've been speaking about how all the people in this matter are being used as pawns. I also saw another popular leader, a religious leader, Pastor Israel Makamu, come onto the scene, and he was there as the church, the remnants of the church, was really still in flames. And he too came out to say that he's here to support his brother and his friend, and he also refused to comment on what happened yesterday. So it seems many of them continue to support Mboro, but they refuse to comment about what led to this tragedy or to this incident today with the burning of the church.
Khumoso Modise, many thanks. EWN reporters still out in Katlehong, and of course, if there's any breaking news there, you can be sure we'll give it to you in news bulletins and in news headlines, which is where we're going now. It's 3:30. And it's that Katlehong issue that leads us off. Here's Mbali Dlamini.
Thanks, John. A very good afternoon. The suspects arrested in connection with an incident of violence and intimidation at the Matsidiso Primary School in Ekurhuleni are expected to appear in court tomorrow. The 5 were arrested for threatening teachers and wielding a machete at the school. A video of the incident shows Pastor Paseka Mutsweneng forcefully removing his grandchildren after their father was denied permission to take them home from the school yesterday. It's understood the children are caught in a dispute between their maternal and paternal families following the death of their mother. Gauteng Police Commissioner Tommy Mtombeni.
The tussle is about the custodian of the children. So those 2 children which were depicted on the video, they are linked to Mutseneni family.
We shift our focus to this now. The National Assembly is still sitting with a number of vacancies that have not been filled by the MK Party and the ANC. While the ANC is yet to fill the vacancy left by the resignation of corruption-accused Zizi Kodwa, the MK Party is still sitting with 5 vacancies after Parliament said the list it submitted is not compliant with the law. Some of the MK Party members still to be sworn in include former Eskom CEO Brian Molefe and Gezani Penipeni Kobane. Babalondenze has more.
MK Party Chief Whip Sihle Ngubane had earlier indicated to Eyewitness News that the MPs to be sworn in also include former Transnet CEO Siyabonga Gama and former Prasa Chief Lucky Montana. But this is yet to happen weeks later, after the National Assembly said the party's lists were not in order. In a letter to Ngubane and seen by Eyewitness News, National Assembly Secretary Masibulele Xaso says the provincial lists of KwaZulu-Natal and Mpumalanga have not been. Xaso says this is not in line with the Electoral Act. Xaso said the administration of Parliament must ensure that all legal prescripts pertaining to the membership of the Assembly are followed, saying the MK Party has not been compliant in this regard. Babalo Ndenze, Eyewitness News.
The ANC in the Western Cape has commended the police for preventing a cash and transit robbery in Khayelitsha. 8 would-be robbers were killed in a shootout with police last night. Police say a team deployed to the township was met with gunfire from the group and they retaliated. 5 other suspects have been arrested and 2 are under police guard in hospital. Here's ANC Police Oversight and Community Safety spokesperson Benson Mlendu.
The ANC in the province has consistently called for the enhancement of SAP's intelligence capacity. Therefore, SAPS should build on this as it demonstrates that intelligence-driven operations are crucial in combating rampant crime in our provinces.
Mlendu has called on police to continue clamping down on gang and extortion-related crimes in the Western Cape.
The incident serves as a clear message to criminal elements that SAPS maintains a zero-tolerance stance towards crime.
And U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris has announced Tim Walz as her running mate for the presidential election. Walz could become her successor if Harris beats Donald Trump in the November polls. According to the BBC, Harris interviewed several top contenders in Washington, D.C. over the weekend. The duo will now hit the campaign trail immediately, launching an intense 5-day swing through battleground states, starting with Pennsylvania. In your weather, a fine Wednesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Lows off between 0 and 5 degrees and highs off between 21 and 24.
Traffic lights out in the city of Johannesburg. North Riding get President Forshare Road and Malibongwe Drive and Witkoppen and Bryanston. N1 and Winnie Mandela Drive. 20-minute long delays caused by heavy traffic volumes. This is in Sunning Hill as well as Polshof on Witkoppen Road eastbound. Please use the N1 North as an alternative route and drive with care.
The top story in Eyewitness News, the suspects arrested in connection with an incident of violence and intimidation at the Matsidiso Primary School in Ekurhuleni are expected to appear in court tomorrow.
Le kae? Ke tlile mo. Go deliver from Pick and Pay. Ke tla if a setsa mo ke tla checka, ke tla ba founela. Okay. Hayi kamamela umuntu ongimdelivelang nje. I-address 97 kumafello. 97. Okay. Okay. Cool, okay, thank you.
It's the resurrection. At the same time, another popular pastor, Bishop Israel Magamu, visited the Incredible Happenings Church. He says he's here to support his brother and friend. Magamu and the members of Prophet Mutwene's church have refused to comment on his actions at the Matsidiso school yesterday. Homes Modise, Eyewitness News in Katlehong.
Police Minister Senzo Mkhulu has identified crime intelligence as an area which needs
involved with Incredible Happenings who live in Katlehong.
Of course, there are many people who still, support Pastor Mboro, but we know that he used to be popular back then, but he still enjoys some support from some people who are still following him. Some congregants today were saying that, this is just a test, this is just a challenge. We shall overcome this challenge. They believing that Mboro is being persecuted, but we know that people who have fellowship, the only people who will support you, the only people who defend you. But in this case, community members believe that Mboro should be taken to task, but his congregants believe that he's just a minor challenge, and they believe that it's a family issue. No public members of the public should not interfere. However, his actions were done publicly, involving many people, not just the family concerned.
What are you hearing from the school? Because that would have been a traumatic day for teachers, for school support staff, and above all for children.
So this morning we went to school to see what is happening. As we know that the president of ANC, Colin Malachi, was there to see the situation, to visit the school as well. So we went there to find out. But we found that parents were there. Some were taking their kids to school, but some were just there just to monitor, to see what is happening, because they wanted to see the MEC for Education, because they believe that the MEC was supposed to be there and take action against Mboro. But many parents were saying that they did not bring their kids to school because some kids are still fearing what they saw. They still have fear after seeing guns and pagas inside school premises. So they were reluctant, some parents, to release their kids to go to school. And some of them, they just went there just to monitor the situation and see what was happening. But we saw that the Department of Education sent their officials there who were there as well to make sure that they support teachers and staff.
And can I ask you this, Lungani, what do you know about the actual burning of that large tent? The focus is very much on high school students. Were they all from a nearby school, or had they come from more than one school in the neighborhood?
So while we were with Colin Malachi there in the morning, the ANC Youth League in the region had said that they are going to organize a march tomorrow to Katlehong North Police Station to demand for those community members that were arrested to be released, because they believe that those community members were not supposed to be arrested, but Mboro was supposed to be arrested because those community members were in fact defending the school and those kids. So they wanted to go there and march so that they can be released. But tomorrow, some students could not wait until tomorrow. They went to the police station today to demand that these residents must be released. But when police were trying to explain that there are processes, these leaders just went to Mboro's church and said, what, we're burning this church down, because it seems as if Mboro once again is getting away with it.
And just from your clear knowledge of your community, Lungani, how do you see this playing out over the next few days? Do you think once there's been a court appearance, things will calm down, or do you think relations between Incredible Happenings congregants on the one hand and people who are angry with what happened at Matsidiso might continue to boil? How do you see this going?
Of course, John. This is Katlehong. We know that Katlehong from the 90s, our history here, that to do a toy or to march is a simple thing, and these young people, it took them almost a minute just to gather, disrupt schools, and go to the police station, and later go to Mboro's church. So what I'm thinking will happen tomorrow is that we can expect another school disruption tomorrow, where some learners will gather, maybe perhaps outside Palmbridge Magistrate Court, but also expect Mboro's supporters that also they will be there to support their father, because there are people who still believe that Mboro is innocent, that they still believe that his actions were justified.
And just finally, Lungani, I mean, again, from your knowledge of the community, whenever we have something like this, political actors of various kinds move in, maybe from youth leagues, maybe councillors, maybe members of political parties. I'm not sure they are always incredibly helpful when they move in. Who though, has real influence in Katlehong, who can ensure that on the one hand, justice is done, but on the other, that there is some de-escalating of tensions? Who should we be looking at as possible mediators and peacemakers?
Well, I think the regional political leadership can be able to, our people down.
Right.
As I said, Mboro is popular, but he's no longer popular like we used to. So many people, especially young people, they listen to their political leaders. Like today, some leaders who were heading that tent or the church, we saw that some political local leaders, that they were able to come in quick and be able to, to calm the situation down. So I believe that political leaders can play a huge role in trying to calm tensions in this area.
Sorry.
It's understood the pastor entered the Matsidiso school yesterday for forcefully removing his grandchildren after his son was denied access. 5 people have been arrested in connection with the incident and will appear at the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court tomorrow. Has more.
Members of the Incredible Happenings Church have been here trying to salvage remnants of what was their place of worship, but most of the church's equipment has been completely destroyed. This woman has been singing here cheerfully as the church goes up in flames. She says what happened here does not worry her.
Our prophet last week. Our prophet has prophesied that this would happen. He told us that he wants to start anew. The same way Jesus said he is the way and resurrection, our Father taught us that you rise. We are not fazed by this. It's the resurrection.
At the same time, another popular pastor, Bishop Israel Magamu, visited the Incredible Happenings Church. He says he's here to support his brother and friend. Magamu and the members of Prophet Mutwene's church have refused to comment on his actions at the Matsidiso school yesterday. Khomzo Modise, Eyewitness News in Katlehong.
And in Asia, the president in Bangladesh says the chair of the main opposition party,